is Zois Chukas HaTorah. Sure is bekannt that the Magen Avraham and Simon Tov Kuf Pei brings in the name of the Tanya Rabossi that there was a minute they even fasted on Friday Parshas Chukas because of the Sreifas HaTalmud was bred in Sorfas 20 wagons of Gemaras. It was on Friday Parshas Chukas.
It was this last year.
St. Louis.
Last year it burned. The whole...
The king, his name.
Oh, yeah, but what's up the last year?
That whole place in France.
That cathedral.
Cathedral. That isn't a cathedral.
1 second. But they made so much money on that strafe.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
let's not get into it. So it says 20 wagons. And he says that why would they kaveh the tainus for Friday Parshas Chukas not on the Yom B'Chodesh? Because they asked the Shaila Scholam, and it was Nizgala that Zois Chukas HaTorah do Gzeira Soraisa, that the Gzeira Soraisa, this Gzeira Aftorah, that expressed itself in the Sreifas HaTalmud, there's Merumas over here, and the Megillah has a Shaykhas the Parshas Chukas. But Bemis, it's hard to understand what the Shaykh is, this Chukas HaTorah is talking about Parah Adumah, what does it have to do with the Shefes HaTzalmud? So I want to make a Hatzah. Not that I understand these things, but nevertheless, I'll share with you that there's a Ramchal, there's a fascinating letter from the Ramchal. It's in the Igros Udois Ramchal Uvenei Doroi. He says like this, he writes, we all know and we all believe that everything that the Rebbeinu Shalom does is l'toiva and it's all the tayelis. But what kind of tayelis can there possibly be from the burning of the Gemaras, which happened a few times in Jewish history? He says, you didn't want to learn and they can't learn. I mean, how could it be good? And he says like this, he says that, as opposed to other Averis, the Gemara says, on the Aver of Avodah Zarah, even though B'derech Klal Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzaref Machshava Machshava Ra Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzaref Avodah Zarah, yes, L'man Tzvois Beis Yisrael B'libam. So he says that the Chet of Avodah Zarah needs a tikkun both on the level of Maisa and on the level of Machshava. He says when Megillah in Bayis Sheni that Klal Yisrael was in Bayis Rishon that Klal Yisrael was Chayt in Avodah Zarah, the Machshavas of Avodah Zarah needs a tikkun, and the tikkun for Machshava, he says, is with a Machshava Toiva that can't be realized, a Machshava Toiva that can't be carried out. And he says that when Yidden will learn and they can't learn, that's the tikkun for Machshavas Avodah Zarah. So he schreibt the Ramchal in a brief, and he writes the ganze arichas and very deep Kabbalistic concepts. But this is what he says, that there's a special tikkun for Machshavas Avodah Zarah with she'ifas, with a quest that is not bo al sipukoi, that's not carried out. And Mamela, I think maybe that's really the shaykhis to Parah Adumah, because what's Parah Adumah? Moshe Darshan says it's a tikkun for, it's mashal a kid that was metanef the paltir and shel melech, and the king says tavoy imoy u'tekaneach tzoyas beno. So also this is a tikkun for the chet ha-egel. How exactly? Is it a tikkun for the Chet HaEgel? I mean, we know that the Torah, the Egel didn't have a mother. It was an Egel. Yes. So, what are we trying to say by this mashal? It could be, listen, what was the Chet of the Egel? Chet of the Egel was, Zeh, Ha'ish Moshe lo yodana mahoyelo. And they couldn't deal with the uncertainty. Sometimes people can't deal with uncertainty, and they grab onto a certainty, a false certainty. But the emphasis, the tikkun, is the ongoing amarti echkim over here rechoika mimeni. The Parah Adumah represents an ongoing quest for understanding that will never be reached. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. The Rambam says that Shlomo HaMelech was masig roiv hataimim shel kol mitzvahs haTorah, which means that even in Parah Adumah he's masig roiv hataimim. And the Amarti Echkim was not a mistake. The Amarti Echkim was an ongoing process. But in the case of the Parah Adumah, we know for sure it'll never come to an end. It'll never be fulfilled. It's never, and Mamela, that's really the tikkun for the Lo Yodanu Ma'oyale. Lo Yodanu und weiter. You know, and you weiter don't know. Right? You know, and you weiter don't know. That's the tikkun for the... So Mamela, it really, the Parah Adumah represents a quest, an aspiration that's never realized.
Never quenchable.
That's never realized. And therefore, this is where it's merumas, the Streifas HaTalmud, which is the tikkun for machshava. For machshava. Ja, was mir redt.
Machshava
kann sein, mir redet da an etwas Eimes in der Kunde, heute nicht. It's not my Tiachgemo. It's not my Tiachgemo. Aber das the misaskel is that I feel like Sazira, like many, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be a Tiachgemo. But that's probably, and that's actually the Rambam's twist on the Tiachgemo. You see in the end of Hilchos Tmura that he quotes this B'toich Dvorov when he's trying to say that a person is mechuyev at kama shel yochel liten tam. He should try to give a tam, and he brings the pasuk of Amarti Echkim Avir Chaykum. In other words, what the Rambam took out of this pasuk is not that you should hate him.
Hold hands.
As I feel like Zizri Chaykum Imen, he's on an alvata Amarti Echkim. Vaita Amarti Echkim. Anyway, so that's you know. This is all about Tumas Meis. By the way, the Torah, it's interesting, the order, because the Torah first tells us about the Parah Adumah, which is the solution.
Right.
And then
he says,
what is the solution for? It's a solution for Tumas Meis, that appears second. So, but that means it could be, the Gemara says...
But a fear for the matter.
Fear market. Oh, it was a Geschmack. And Smizan, Shalom Aleichem. So, Semiza, by the way, you see the Gemara says in Nozid of Samachalov that a goy doesn't have tumas meis. Not that he's not matam. A goy is not makabel tumas meis because we dash from a pasuk mishi yesh leitara yesh leituma.
Kashim Kashim.
But the Gemara looks at tumas meis. So mishi yesh leitara yesh leituma. So you see that first there has to be tara, and the emet says it's like al derech. I say. Ein evet ivri noyeg b'zman she'ein hayovel noyeg. The Torah doesn't create a problem. You don't get into the problem if you can't get out. That's what it is. So the ganze Tumas Mes is only because we have a solution. If there's no solution, the problem doesn't come to be. Anyway, listen, Tumah is something that we don't have an understanding of, like the Rambam says, that Tumas and Tara is something that the mind doesn't comprehend. But the Kuzari says in the second shar that all Tumas have to do with Heder HaChaim, have to do with death. He says, Tumas Mes, Metzora, he says it's an Eber Mes, or it's like Metzora Choshev Kemes. He says, Ziva is Zera that could have potentially created life. That's Makulku. He doesn't. 1 second. Very good. Tumas Nida he doesn't discuss, but I would say that that's because every month a woman has a potential to create life, and she missed the opportunity. So that also represents death. But Tumas Leida L'chara goes against this whole idea because she gives birth. How do you explain?
But a part of her dies when she gives birth.
That's so.
No, she had within her another being, and it was ripped
but
from
now
her.
The being was
but
realized.
It's not in her. It's an extension.
Okay. Ich wollte sagen, ich sage allemal bederich klar, wenn ich sage etwas, sage ich, man kann allemal sagen schwache. Jid hat recht.
Like we said today. We said today, the emes, everyone can have.
Ja. Is my mind a little bit that really the tumah of later is the pshat is that when a person she actually creates life. When you achieve, when you accomplish, your energy is depleted. In other words, you accomplished life, so you're really emptied out of the drive to create life. And that's really reflected in the Gemara that says that a woman, when she has a baby,
She
makes a
swears.
shvur that she like to zakik l'baylo. In other words, it takes her a while to get back the drive to create life. So that's, 1 second. So that is the Tumah of Leda. And that will explain, by the way, you see, the Tumah of Leda, in a sense, is more common than any other Tumah because she's a Tfulas Yom Oroich. For 33 days by a boy and 66 days by a girl, she's a Tfulas Yom Oroich. We don't find this anywhere else. A Tvul Yom Bechlal is interesting to Zach. You know that the Avnei the Hagdama to the Eglei Tal, brings in the name of his father, on Me'emis Aikern Kriyashma Ba'arovin, Mishosh HaKehanim Nechnasim Lecha B'Trumason. What's the shaykh? He says that why is it Mishosh HaKehanim Nechnasim Lecha B'Trumason? That's when they become Oif Tvul Yom. What's the idea of a Tvul Yom? Because a day that you were Tamei is a lost day. Tomorrow is another day. So Mamela, Kriya Shema, you learned in the morning Kriya Shema. Just like the negative takes over the whole day, and that's why you do Tvul Yom. So also the positive, the Kriya Shema, lasts from the morning till at night. But to come to night, they got rid of the Tvul Yom. So just like you get rid of the Tvul Yom, you also lost the Madrega of the Kriya Shema Shachas, you have to learn again. But anyway, Tvul Yom is one day. Over here we have a Tfulas Yom Orach. I think because when the tumah of exposure to death, Taka you could get over with, but the tumah of realizing the potential for life, of emptying out the drive for life, it takes much longer to regain, and that's the idea of the Tfulas Yom Orach. Kenzai. What did you want to say about the Meichatos?
Same idea, that he becomes Tameh because he's giving Tumah, Tahara to someone else. He's emptying out his own Tahara, so to speak. Kaviyachal.
That's already too Kaviyachal for me, but listen. Okay, that's like a stretch. That's begin a stretch, but 1 second. But Zoysa Torah, Adam Kiyomus Ba'il. Based in the Challah, that Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says that a guy is not Metame. Tumas Oil. Adam, Atem Kriyim Adam. Atem Kriyim Adam. By the way, you know that this was something that the Goyim were very upset about, and it became.
Yeah.
Where is Mendel Bayless buried, by the way? Cyprus in Queens.
Really?
Yeah. Mendel Bayless never had a very tragic life. He died in his 30s. Wow. Because he moved to Eretz Yisrael. He moved to Eretz Yisrael. Then his son died. He never made a parnasa. You see, then there wasn't like a Vazir.
He couldn't sell the movie rights.
Yeah. So then he after his son died and maybe his wife died, he moved to America and he died of heartache and he died in his 30s. He was buried in Queens. Now, but listen, so by his trial, so Piyadua, that it was like one of the most celebrated trials in the
Right.
It was in
Jackie Mason's
1911 to
cousin.
1913. Now so there was the lawyer, the main lawyer was a guy, Oscar Grusenberg. Even though his name is Oscar, he was a Russian, assimilated Jew. That the Lubavitcher of the Rashab convinced him to take on the case. He didn't want to. But anyway, so one of the questions that there's to show that Jews don't consider Goyim Bechlal to be human, and therefore it's no kasha that they kill them for the matzahs, was from the Atem Kriyim Adam. So, and the yoyitz for this Grusenberg was the chief rabbi of Moscow, Gehasim Reb Yaakov Mazo.
That's my Jackie Mason.
Yeah. Is this But by the way, the Kohanim Mazor, it comes from Mazeh. It comes from the Mazeh Mechatzes, yeah. But it's not special. It's Reb Meir Shapiro wrote a letter, that's what they say, to Reb Yaakov Mazor, that he should tell Brusenberg that the pshat is that the Mashal Ish, we have Ishim, we have Anoshim, we have Gever, we have Gvarim, but the word Adam, we don't have Adamim. We never find it in plural because Adam is only in a singular form. So the pshat is because Klal Yisrael, they're all like one person. B'haraya, that such a trial comes up, even all over the world are concerned. And that's the pshat, not in Kriya Adam. In any case, but I say, I once heard from David Pavarsky, by the way, at Gizach Tazoy, a different word than Atem Kriya Adam, that the Mashal
Isha.
Plural also? Isha.
Isha.
No, but that's the rim.
Nashim. So the thing is that or David Pavarsky of Gizak Tazoy, as the Mashal has kommt der ungarische Jid, in Polen ruft man am Ungarische. Aber in Ungarn ruft man nicht kein Ungarisch. Ein Polish Jid kommt in Ungarn, ruft man am Polish. The Atem Kriya Adam is just like this. Yidden went beyond being an Adam. They say, kommt von Adam. Aber I'm going to put him on because he's like a Hungarian in Hungary. Hungarian leaves Hungary, they call him Hungarian.
To my side, that's nice. The Beryl always says that he said that when he had his upshare.
Yeah.
So the Bachonim cut the hair, put him on his lap. Bachonim gefragt. He says, so was Adam a Yid or a Goy?
Okay.
So he said Adam is a Goy. So how do you know? He says because or else there wouldn't be any Goyim.
Of course.
Maybe he married a guy. Maybe he married a shiksa. Yeah.
And he's very proud of that.
Yeah. Okay, and this is a big chiddush to me because in Litzat Mishkamach cannot.
Yeah, that was the chiddush also.
Yeah. So the thing is like this. Adam ki yamus ba'oil, yeah? Adam ki yamus ba'oil. Shumas oil. Why Bechal should a guy not be metami? The Rechaim says that it's like a mushal, like a kli that's emptied out of dvash, honey, so the bees come, the flies come. But they gravitate to something sweet. They gravitate to something good. So when a Yiddish neshama leaves the body, it creates tumah. Whereas a guy when he dies, but the thing is, it's only tumas oil. The Gemara's maskana only tumas oil. So what is it? Why is the pshat only tumas oil a guy doesn't have? Tumas maga there is. So it could be because what's the idea of tumas oil? Really, what does the oil have to do with anything? Because tzaddik be'ir, who hoida, who ziva, who hadar, yotza tzaddik be'ir. In other words, the absence, the parameters of the absence depend on the parameters of the presence. In other words,
you don't miss it.
Is only in his own Damas. Yeah, a größer Mensch in der ganzen Stadt. Also wie bald das sein ist in der ganzen Stadt, sein nicht sein ist euch murgisch in der ganzen Stadt. So I make it sound like this. A guy we say, he is what he is. I mean, he's not mashpia of the ganze Sviv. The oil, he's not felt in the oil. Whereas the Yid, we say the ganze oil, and that's really, he told me learning Ador. So the emphasis, that's more from the first mission in Ador, because we say that a goy mi'ikar adin is not mechayiv v'chatzeres, so midrabanan. Why? Because it's like a dir shabbayim. In other words, he doesn't have a presence in the chotzer. Because his dira is a dir shabbayim. By the way, I say, why do we call it a dir, not a dira? Ba'amensh is a dira. Why? Because adir is lashon hakeva. Yeah. So the mensch is a socher, is the mashpia of the dira. Is the mashpia of zaymakim. Abba behema is impacted by her place. So the place is the zocher.
I see.
Weißt du, Deutsch ist dumme Mäusen suchen, weißt du? Ich bin sucht, das ist etwas Wörtel in Jiddisch, der Amagid was bei Geld. Auf dem steht, Deurisch Dummen, äußern suchen. Also so, der Magid Maschpia auf der Balbat. Aber wer beit Geld, äußern suchen, macht es von Seher suchen. Was sei denn, der Maschpia nicht, der Magab. Aber von the deer shall beheimen, the pshat is that the deer is the Maschpia and the behemoth is the Magab. Whereas by Mensch, is that left in a deer, was is the Maschpia. And the Makim is the Makabel, and therefore a Yid creates
Tumas
oil. A Yid creates Tumas oil. So it's like this. No. Was steht da weiter? Yes, so yeah, you know, it says, where's the Misa? Well, here it says like this, this is against the Santa. It says, Shimuna Amorim. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Shimuna Amorim. Why can't I find the pasuk? I'm on the Maisi. Seid ihr the roof? No, aber wie steht der letzte Shimuna Amorim? ויקילו מוישה והרנס הכל על פני הסולה ויואם להם שימונו המורים המנסה הזה. So what's morim? Absamod Nalosh.
Widerspänige.
So Rashi sagt, Rashi sagt,
Widerspänigt.
Okay.
Rebels?
It means something like that, yeah. So, look, Rashi says, Amalahem Amorim, Sarvonim. That's Widerspänige. Loshin Yevoni Shoitim, Morim es Morim. So, in Greek, Morim are Shoitim, Shem Morim es Morim. It's a English quote, the ganze Sache. It's a Greek word. But first of all, why is somebody that's Morim es Morim a Shoitim? I mean, he's a Machutzif. Why do we call him a Shoitim? So the Chaylev Shah is like this. We say, Ezeu Chacham, Halami Mikola. Spitz Chacham is Salam for jeden. A kleinere Chacham, lernt noch von gezählte Mensch. Gar a kleiner Chacham, lernt noch von sein Reben. Noch a kleiner Chacham, lernt er von nicht von sein Reben. Noch a kleinere Chacham, will euch lernen dem Reben. Ja, nicht kann Leute die Kolode, soll mit mich schon und nicht noch was lernen, nicht mich schon will sie euch lernen. That's Shoitim. Shoitim shemorim es morim. Shoitim shemorim es moireihem. Und das ist der Pshat. Das ist manchmal. Wir können anders nicht lernen. In the Pshat is like, Be'emes is Lashon Yevoni, it just reminds me, I mean, I can't really explain, but the Rabbeinu Yoine in the beginning on that Mishnah of Ezeu Chacham, Alim Koladim, he says that that's why the Yevonim call a Chacham a philosoph, which means the lover of knowledge, because it doesn't depend really, what defines you as a Chacham is not what you know, but how much you want to know. And the more you want to know, that's the Rabbeinu Yoine in the beginning of the fourth parak. You see, the Yevonim were really into this thing of that wanting to know is what defines you as a Chacham. I mean, the biggest shtus is that you want to teach. If that's why the Yevonim say that somebody that teaches his Rebbe is a shoyter. All right, is Kumtai Sazai.
So why is Moshe Rabbeinu talking Greek to the Jews?
Listen. But with Be'emes we know, where did the Greeks get Greek from? It comes from us, I mean. Anything good, comes from us. So, like Teitofis.
No, that's why Yefes.
Sometimes, on the outside, I exaggeration. I'm not being serious about that. I mean, the Kuzri says that music, comes from us, but I wouldn't say that all languages, Be'emes, come from Lashon Kodesh. It says, before the Dor HaPaloga, I mean, there was a Safa Achas, Dvarim Achadim. And so it could be that some words stayed in their original form. I mean, they became integrated into other language.
Je want het meteen met Lashon Kodesh, je hebt zo'n
Hat a kesher.
Tamula wegen Menschen, nein? Is that wegen Menschen, or wegen Menschen in Greek or something? No?
No, but writing is Sefer Torah.
Yeah, because it's
Okay, so 1 second. It says like this: Vayoyme Hashem el Moshe v'lahan b'hor al gvul Eretz Edom leimor ye'osef Aharon el Amo ki lo yover el Oretz. So Rashi says al gvul Eretz Edom magid shemipnei sheneschabru kan le'eskarev la'esav harosho nifritzu ma'aseihem v'chosru atzadik hazeh. So my father said, what's the Shakas punkt? Because Aaron, given the midah von Oyev Shalom v'Roidev Shalom. Oyev is not based on the Oyev Shalom is a wichtige midah, but like all midas, Oyev Shalom v'Roidev Shalom, like all midas, it has to be with moderation. It has to have boundaries. Over here, they were Niskar of Lais of Arosha, means that they took the midah of Aharon too far. So this tzaddik, that his midah, that he's mastering,
He didn't want to see you ruin his
the midah of shalom, he has to be taken away because it's going too far. The emphasis that in Parshas Kedoshim, interessant is, wie soll ich steht dort? Lo yisikim lo yisikim b'lemecha. V'hafta lo riach l'kamoicha ani Hashem. Es chukoi sai tishmoiru behemtecho lo yisabia klayim, sotcho lo yisabia klayim, u'begit klayim shatnez lo yad alecha. So the Orach Chaim HaKodesh says, in the Hemshech HaKsuvim, that v'hafta lo riach l'kamoicha, aber nicht mit alles darf man sich ausmischen. In other words, you have to be aware that there's klayim also. Sometimes stay away. V'hafta lo riach l'kamoicha, but you have to know when when nicht. That's also merumas in the fact that echad ba'adar mashmiyam al hashkolim al kilayim, because all the Sfarim say that shkolim it's about a machzis hashekel, it's about the achtas of Eden, we bring the karbanas tzibur. At the same time, when machzis al kilayim, that's al derech what the Orach Chaim is saying, v'haftu yav kamoicha, and but kilayim not. Anyway, when Aaron HaKohen, when they were miskarev le'esav harosha of mitzugenommen Aaron HaKohen. Und this is azoy. By the way, we mentioned about
Well, for asking for shalom makes
before I forget, because esav chacham aloim nikoladim. You know, there's a pasuk that says chachamim heim alahora u'lahetiv lo yodo. Chachamim heim alahora u'lahetiv lo yodo. So, I say like this, what's the midah of Chachma? The midah of Chachma is Lamed Mikoladim. But you know that you could be a Lamed Mikoladim, you learn from everybody as Chesronis. Muscle, you know,
learn from other people's mistakes.
Have strong points and they have Chesronis, al derech zeh, non-Chasidim, have their miles. But there's people, you see, they manage to pick up from everybody the Chesronis. Da haben sie wie alle zwei. Nestle, da haben sie bechzide. So pshat is, they end up, they have nothing. So that's Chacham and Heimel. You use that midah of Chachma, but only for Lahara. You learn the Chesronis instead of Laheta